Join me today as I make this Momigami inspired altered composition journal. The outside cover is made with magazine pages altered using the Momigami technique. The inside of the journal is covered with magazine pages. I used an old button I had in my sewing box and an elastic cord to make the closure. Okay, let's get started making our Momigami altered composition journal. So let's go over the supply list that you'll need to make your Momigami altered composition book. So I have an ice pick that I found in the kitchen that I used to poke holes with. At the Dollar Tree, they had piercing tools that you can also use. You need a ruler, pencil, scissors, masking tape. Also, I found a scraper tool at the Dollar Tree, but you can always use a key card or a gift card. I'll be using Mod Podge for this project, as well as glue sticks. Sponge brushes. I'll need some elastic stretch lace that I found at the Dollar Tree, as well as the twine. Things you may have in your kitchen. I'm using grapeseed oil for today's project. A sponge. And to keep my hands clean from making Momigami paper, I'm going to use these plastic gloves. It'll also be good to have wax paper handy. So let's get your composition book. Also some pages from a magazine. I love to garden, so I have a lot of gardening magazines. So I pulled some pages out of it to make my Momigami paper. I'm also using a brown paper bag because it sort of gets a little messy. Okay, let's get started. Have you ever wondered what you're going to do with all those catalogs and magazines that come through the mail? Well, Momigami is a great way to utilize them and repurpose them. If you were in our class that we had at the Dallas Public Libraries, we would have already done some Momigami, prepped some Momigami sheets. And what that is we're taking oil and rubbing it on the sheets from the magazine, and then we crumple them. So here's an example. This is what you would have gotten in your pack. But if you're working on this project at home using your own supplies, we're going to go through the process step by step so you can create your own Momigami papers for your altered book. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prep our book to keep the oil off of the pages on the inside. So how I'm going to go about that, you remember the wax sheets? This is a good time to get them out. I put one in the back, in between the cover and the paper. And I put one in the front. So now I'm going to open up this book and show you a little trick to keep everything in place. So I take that wax paper and I pull it as close as I can into the seam on both the front and the back cover. I'm going to take my masking tape and just put it right down the middle. And that'll keep that wax paper in place. And also, keep my spine clean on my book, I'm going to put some masking tape right along the edge, that black edge. And do the same on this side. Remember, this masking tape I got at the Dollar Tree. All right. So I'm going to put some masking tape over here on this side just to keep it from sticking to my pages. Let me get a bigger piece. Oop, getting all taped up. Okay. I'm putting it right over the sticky part of the masking tape that I put down when it was turned over. I'm going to do the same on this edge as well. Okay, it looks like I have my book all nice and protected. I'm going to close it up for right now and come and take a look at some of the pages that I took from my magazines that come in. Now, if you were at our workshops, you would have gotten a kit and you would have gotten 2 jelly prints that go on the inside of your book right here. And we call those end papers. But if you're working at this at home with your own supplies, I'm going to select 2 pages that I think that will work on my front and the back on the inside. Well, I sort of like those 2. Now that's neat too. Maybe I'll make this my gardening book. Oh, okay. I think this is what I'm going to go with. So I'll do one for there. And I'll do the other on this side. Okay. So I'm going to set those inside my book for right now. And put them aside. Let's see, now I'm going to select just some random pages to Momigami. Oh, I like the white space on here. I think I'll do a couple of sheets of that as well. Wow, that moth ring is interesting, that wing right there. Let's start with those. So I would recommend doing maybe about 5 to 6 sheets of magazine pages. So in order to get it like this, we're going to be putting oil on it and then scrunching them up. So this can get a little messy. So I'm going to put on some gloves. Now I'm going to use some grapeseed oil that I have around the house. And you can feel free to use any kind of oil that you have as well. Okay, so I'm going to take a sponge. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to take a brown paper bag just to give me something for this oil to collect on. Put some oil on my sponge, and I'm going to make sure I put that top on. And then I'm going to start just putting that oil all over the sheet. And it doesn't matter if you stack them up on each other. That way the oil can soak in on both sides of the sheet. Okay, now I'm going to set that aside, and I usually let it sit overnight when I'm preparing these pages. But for the purpose of this, I've already started working on some pages, so I have some pages that the oil has already soaked through. So now what I'm going to do is just crumple it up. And this is where your hands can get pretty messy. Okay, so you should have a product that looks like this when you finish. I'm going to crumple it up just a little bit more. I like to have a variety of dark and light pages. So I'm going to crumple up probably a total of about 6 pages. Doesn't matter if you tear them, because we're going to be tearing these all apart in the end anyway to do the cover. Okay, I think I have enough to get started with. So I'm going to set these aside. And get my composition book. And I think I'm going to put some wax paper here, because since I've been dealing with the oily paper, just to keep my book clear. Alright, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to be using Mod Podge for this project, and I have my little sponge brush ready. So I'm just going to start tearing these sheets in different sizes, because we're going to do some collaging. Now you can do strips. I do both strips and I do little pieces. All right, I think I have enough little pieces now. Let me push those off to the side. Now, I'm going to do what they call audition. And when we do put our Momigami paper down, we do want it to extend like about 1 inch over the edge of the book. So I'm going to just place things so I can see how they look before I start gluing it down. I think I want some light colors in there as well. And remember to keep in mind to keep at least about 1 inch, inch off on the sides, top and bottom, so you have something to turn over. Now when you're doing this, make sure you take time to get the pieces where you want them, and we call that auditioning the pieces. And once you get it down to where you think you'd like everything, what we find helpful sometimes is to take a picture. Take a picture of it so you can have an idea of how you place things down. All right, I think I have a good idea of what I'm looking for here, so I'm going to start gluing things. Now my first step, I usually just spread some glue in a little area where I'm getting started. Remember to keep 1 inch, put your paper at least 1 inch over the edge, because we're going to turn that under on the other side of the book. Now this would be a good time to use your scraper or your key card, just to sort of varnish that down and make sure you have a good contact between your book and your paper. Remember to keep at least an inch over the edge of your book. Put the paper over an inch over the edge. That'll give you something to turn. Okay, looks like I've gotten everything in place. Got one more place there that I think I want to cover up a little bit more. And now I'm going to check for any little areas, little corners that might be sticking up. Make sure they're all smooth and glued down. Okay, then I'm going to give it another coat of Mod Podge to spread it over everything to give it a nice finish. This area you can apply pretty thinly. Doesn't need to be thick. Okay. All right, everything's coated. So let's do this. Let's let this dry. If you were at our workshops, we had hair dryers that we used to heat it up and help dry the glue a little bit faster. But since we're working in our own space, I'm just going to let it dry naturally. One of the things that I do, I'll take a piece of plastic and put my little brush in it and just wrap it up. And this keeps it from drying out while we're drying the pages. Next, let's take the our book, and let's gently pull the cover off of your wax paper. That will allow it to the edges to dry a little bit faster, and also make sure that your edges don't stick down permanently to the wax paper. So I lift a corner, I put my hand up underneath the book, and I gently peel it away. So see? And then I'll let it dry. Everything appears to be dry. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. Fold that in. Continue to protect my sheets. All right. I'm going to put some glue. I'll get my brush out. Okay. And I'm just going to go around the edges here. I got a little too close in that corner. Make sure you have enough glue on your paper. All right, let me do these little corners, put some glue on these corners because I'm going to fold them down first. Make my little triangle. Put some more glue on the paper itself. Okay. Fold that down. Make sure that's tight on the edge of the book. Pull that top edge down and make sure you have enough glue so it stays put. Lift up all the layers so each layer is making contact with glue. You can see why I wear gloves, because as you see, some of the ink from the pages is starting to come off. As you see, I still have the wax paper protecting the sheets. I'm going to just turn that down, and I'm going to do the other side. Okay. All right, so see the edges, once you turn that over, makes a nice clean edge and covers. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. And then I'll be back. So our cover is dry. The inside part is dry. So now it's time to put our inside, what we call the end covers, on. And remember, I picked these 2 pages from the magazine, which I'm going to use to cover the inside. So as you notice, these pages are a little bit larger than our book. One of the things that I will do is create a template. So, because I know I'm going to create more than just one composition book, altar journal. So with my template, I can place it over the pages and I can trace around and then cut it out. Also, you can put whatever sheet that you're going to use on the inside of the cover, like this. And then also use your pencil to trace around the edges, like so. Okay. Let's see, I want to make sure that I have this the way that I want it. All right, I'm going to set that aside. So that's the front and the back. So see, you have a line that you can use to cut out. And also, if you're using a template, like what I've created, you can also put a line and draw around your template. Okay. Right, so that's taken care of. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the masking tape and these sheets. So if you take the masking tape, or whenever I'm pulling tape, I just take my time and I pull it back like this, almost folding it back. I got some edges there, but I'm going to come back with a Sharpie marker and clean that up. All right. All right, that's taking shape. All right, let me see. At this time, I usually try to add my buttons before I put my inner sheets in. So if you're wondering where to put your button, I usually try to put it like an inch inside of your edge. Now remember, I have an ice pick that I found in my kitchen that I'm going to use to punch holes. Also at Dollar Tree, I found this scoring pencil, the scoring tool. So I want to guesstimate just about where I'm going to put that hole. And I'd say maybe right there. All right, I'm going to take my ice pick and punch it through. And then I'm going to bring the front and back cover together and punch another hole. Now I'm going to keep that one small. All right, so here's my button. This is just a button I took off of an article of clothing. Nothing, didn't go out and buy it. I'm quite sure probably plenty of you probably have something like that as well. The twine that I purchased from Dollar Tree, I'll have plenty of it. I'll be able to use it out in my garden. So I cut a couple of inches, thread it through. And if you find that sometimes your thread or your twine is starting to unravel, what I do is get some glue. And just put a little glue on the edge. So I stick that off in there, get a little glue on, and twist it. And that keeps it from fraying. Now to get it through this hole, I'm going to put some more glue on the other end. Stick that down off in the hole. Shake some glue. Twist it up. And then I can put it through the hole quite easily. So I put that pretty tight. Make sure that's tight up against there. Okay. I'm going to take a little masking tape. And a little glue, just put a little glue there. Put my string down. And that will hold it in place later on. Put the masking tape down. Okay. Now because magazine pages are on the thin side, I normally use glue sticks. And these glue sticks, I think they come in a set of 4, and I've seen a set of 8 as well at the Dollar Tree. So let me move that up. Get a piece of wax paper. I'm going to take this glue stick and I'm just going to put it all on the back of here. Make sure you get the edges. The reason why I use glue sticks instead of regular glue, because the moisture in the Mod Podge or the tacky glue sometimes will make the paper warp. And the glue sticks are just a little bit drier. So now I take this and I line it up in the seam. And then I just take my time and smooth it out. Now if you find that your glue has dried up a little bit, feel free to add more glue because you want it to stick really well. And get it on there nice and thick. Take your time and just do a little bit at a time. fold that back. Get plenty of glue on it. Wherever it's lifting, that's letting you know you can put more glue there. Okay. All right, spread that out with your hands. Nice thing about glue sticks, sometimes they allow you enough time to sort of move, reposition it. Okay, there you go. So that's the front cover. All right, I see that there's a little edge off to the side. So I'm going to come back with my scissors and trim that up. Just sort of pull that edge away from the cover. And then I'm going to come along down the side. Check my edges, see if anything's coming up. All right, I can put a little bit more glue there. Press that back down. That end's coming up. Let me put a little bit more glue there as well. All right. So this is some stretch lace, some cording that I also got at Dollar Tree. Let me see, how do you get into it? Here we go. All right, for this cover, I think I'm going to use the black. I'm going to want the closure to be like that. So, and then I'm going to put it in that hole there. So I think that's enough right there. So just to be, if you want to figure out how to measure, sometimes I'll just do the width of the book and cut it off, put a little bit more. Now I'm going to take it, fold it in half, and then I'm going to do a double knot. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to make a knot, keep my fingers at the end, make a knot, bring that loop through, and then I'm going to bring it through again. Then I'm going to push that knot all the way down to the end, like so. Make sure, does that still give me enough room? Yes. I think I can pull that down just a little bit closer to those tails. And this is what I mean by the tail. Now the goal is to find your hole, and then push the end through the hole. All right, once you get it through there, pull. And then I also like to put a little masking tape as well. Cover that area. Okay. All right, so let's see, and then I'm going to push this sheet down on top of there. All right, let's get our glue stick out. And let's put it all over. So I'm going to start in the seam of the book right here. And it seems like because of our Texas heat, our glue dries pretty quickly. So what I want to do is do half of the book and get plenty of glue on it. And it seems to do better if you put the glue onto the book cover itself. Line that up into the seam. Okay. I'm going to lift it back and finish gluing the rest of it. Make sure to get those edges well and put plenty of glue down. Smooth that out. Okay. I notice my list sheet is a little bit longer, so I'm going to come and do the same thing that I did on the front cover. Just roll that back a little bit so I don't cut the cover of the book. Trim that off. Press that down. Okay. So now I've got my end sheets in, so that covers up everything on the back, everything on the front. I hope you enjoyed completing this Momigami composition altered journal. Look through our playlist and see if there's any others that you would like to try as well. Remember to go to our Facebook group and post a picture of your completed journal. See you next time.